Hey everyone, so we realized that we missed part of the mushroom tutorial until it was too late. So the first part of this video is just going to be real quick showing how to make these little dots. If you haven't figured it out, it'll only take a moment. And then we will be moving on in the first stage of making our little gnomes. So these can be any size you want. You can see I kind of made mine a little big, but you can get smaller, you can even get bigger. But you're going to want to try to get some different colored wool if you can. You can use your white to make the beard if you want. Use your red. Pardon me. And make the hats. That's up to you. Today I will be using red just because I have an abundance of it. And I have this really cool brown. You can't tell from the picture, but it has a bunch of colors in it. It's one of my favorite. It's on Wearcraft Dolls and it's called Spice if you're interested. This green one was actually just all green. And so I mixed my colors to give it that kind of teal look with the little teal ball. I'm obsessed. I'm gonna probably make more. I'm thinking about braiding some beards, adding some more details to it. Like this would be a really fun woodsy one. If you could find little acorns, you could glue the acorns on there. I am thinking about doing some wire work in here so his hat can be bendable. Obviously I can't do it with these because these ones are pretty finished. So today we're going to just work on the hat because that is actually what takes the most time. And possibly the base. It depends how long the video gets. But no matter what, we're going to be doing the hat today. So the thing that you're going to need is to create yourself a stencil of a triangle. So I made mine 4 inches across, 5 inches tall. And you're going to need that to help make the stencil for the hat. So draw it out, print it out, and also just remember as big as you want or as small as you want. Now if you're using these small pads, then you definitely want to measure the triangle based upon what will fit on this small pad, because okay, so we're gonna leap right into making the little dots. You're gonna take whatever color you decide to make your dots with. Of course, I used white, and you're gonna make it as wispy as possible. Like, as you can see, I could even make it a little less, but I'm gonna keep it. Then you take your finger and you kind of roll it. You don't want to make it into a full ball. You just want to kind of gather the fibers up into kind of a singular shape a little bit. And then you stick it on your mat. You take your handy dandy needle and you start shaping it. So you put it down and then using your needle, just tack some more down. Gonna kind of lift it up, and then you just kind of bring your needle, bringing those fibers into the middle. Kind of see how it's shaping a little bit, and so you'll see that it's slowly becoming a circle. Now you don't want to overwork it because you're wanting to attach it to the mushroom. So just get your basic shape. Kind of see how I did it. Whoop. Hi, mushroom. Okay, so here's the mushroom example I used last week. Looks like he's got 2 little eyes. So I'm gonna pick a spot on my mushroom, and then I'm gonna start tacking it down. And this, you definitely may have to use more pressure with the needle, but I like to roll my needle kind of around and tack it down. Okay. I was thinking about the best way to explain what your needle does, and it's basically your pen, pencil, paintbrush. The way you manipulate it, the different types of needles, those all determine your shape or your piece of work. So, you know, I don't just go up and down, I also go at angles to kind of angle it. Sometimes I pull my needle out to bring out the color a bit more. And then there's the traditional. So use your needle to manipulate in any way you want. You can research the different types of needles. Like for this shape, you'll see me kind of go around the mushroom, okay, at an angle. And then if you want to shape it more, you just kind of, see what I'm doing? Using an angle, okay. Right. And there you have your dot. Yay! Now on to the gnomes. Just love them. They're adorable. Okay, so we're gonna work on the hat. This is probably going to be the hardest part, and it's not that bad, but this part may be what people consider the tricky part. Also, putting wool on to where you can make it look like a beard. Heck, you can even do little tiny braids if you want to. I'm thinking about doing that. And I gave mine a little mushroom and kind of gave it, looks like his little mouth is right there. Okay? So you remember the shape. Okay? You need your shape, triangle shape. And so whatever color you have decided to do for your hat, this is kind of what you call a layering technique. So you do kind of want bigger, thicker. So this project definitely will use more wool. I like to pull mine out a little bit just to kind of have it spread out a little bit, and then you lay it on your mat. And then you do it again. And you're gonna lay down your mat. You want, when you lay down your shape, your triangle shape, you want the color to come out a bit, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a trace with our needles, which is cool, but then the side stuff we're gonna kind of fold it in, and it makes it a little thicker. So what I've learned is you don't have to have a thick layer of wool. You can always add more, but you definitely want a little bit on the sides. So you're gonna take your needle, be careful, and you're gonna put it right up against the paper. You don't wanna puncture the paper. And you're gonna trace it with your needle. So you're just gonna go way down, all. See that line right there? That is what you want. So if you want it to be a little more defined, you can remove the stencil and kind of trace it down a bit more. Okay, and I'm going to gently, very gently kind of lift it up a bit. But you can see now you have, let's see, a triangle shape. See it? So that gives you the shape for the hat. would try, without like pulling it too much, I would try to lift it up a little bit more off the foam, because you don't want to felt your object permanently into foam. That's a bummer. I've had that happen before. So here we go. So what I like to do is I like to really define that line. Just really kind of work it more than I would normally work it. Okay, so you have your beautiful triangle. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Okay, you're going to take the side and fold it right along the line that you just created. Okay? Gonna fold it really nicely, and then you're gonna tack it down. And you want your lines to be pretty nice. And now gently lift it off the foam. Okay, and you should have something like this. Cute little triangle. So I would definitely work it a bit more. I would bring in, if you have any see-throughness, now's the time to add just a little bit more. Like I have some right about here. So I'm just going to gently add that to it. Okay. One of the great things about doing this is that on a video you can stop, rewind, or you can just listen to the instructions while you're doing it. So the more you work it, the thinner it's going to be. This one it turned out pretty thick, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but I found like when I wanted to give it more of a shape, there was a lot of wool to work with. This one I used less, and as you can see, I was able to do more indentations. I was contemplating bending his hat. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so keep working it. Speed up the video probably right about this time. Okay, so you're thinking, do I have to make a second one? No, this is the part that I was grateful that I learned because it was quite clever. This size is gonna be half. Okay? You're gonna have it. So when it becomes a circle, it's gonna be more like this size. Okay? And so one of the important parts of needle felting is attaching, some ways almost sewing two pieces together. We did that with the mushrooms at the base. This time we're creating a seam. We're creating this to be connected. And this is the tricky part, because once you are done, you kind of still have to manipulate it a bit. So let's just work with the tacking the sides down. It's a little hat now, so but you do have a definite looking seam, which we're going to work with and blend a little bit more. Now the tip, you can keep it wispy. I think it looks really cute that way, or you can kind of gently with your fingers twist it as you notice, there's a lot of hand manipulation of the fibers. So the seam is technically the back of the gnome. On my green one, I blended it enough so you could tell, but it changed over time, but I liked the little crack to make it kind of look funny. So I later added a brim to him. So here is, you just kind of work it. So there you go. You have your little gnome hat. Now, if you need to add more wool because you can see through it, then you remember how I just grabbed a little piece and I just laid it down and needle felted it. Okay, another thing you can do is you can gently stretch it. So if your base ends up being a little too big, you can gently stretch it. I also stretch mine so that I can maybe fold it up. I like little brims on mine. You can do that. So this is important that it is tacked down well so that you can manipulate it to do other things. So once you have the shape you want and you feel good about what you've done, then this is a time where you do want to work it very well. Okay? And take your time. I mean, the hat is really important. It's what you're going to focus on to give it a lot of character. So take your time with it. Now, one of the things I also do, see how strong of a line that is? I don't want it to have that strong of a line. So you fold it down and you don't want to jab it all the way through. Okay? You want to just gently blend it in. The hat is a great way to also add colors to it. You would add colors just as if you were adding additional red to this. As I said with this, their base color was green. I added the teal to it, this way. And as you can see, that was a lot of fun too. So I generally work the hat to a point where it's ready for me to create the base. So keep blending, keep doing this, get it to where you want to, okay? But I'm gonna move onward and talk about the base. And I'm gonna do this really quickly because I see the video is running a little long. Just like how we made the circle, we're going to make the base, but unlike with the circle where we tucked in every corner to make it more round, we're going to make this more cylinder. So you're just going to roll it like a burrito. Well, kind of like a burrito, more like a taquito, okay? And you're going to roll it and tack it down. So we have the base, we have the hat, and stick it in there, and you can see the beginnings of your little gnome. So have this hat made, fixed. Don't worry about it having a brim or any of that right now. Just get it made, get it firmly tacked down, hide the seam best as you can, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, it is the back. Get your cylinder made. Remember, we want the top part to be smaller than the rest, okay? Because that's where you're going to be putting the hat on. Okay, So those are the two things that you need to have ready for next week. The next week we're going to do the nose, we're going to do the beard, and then I'm going to show you some fun things that you can do with the hat, like make it crinkly, make it how to bend it down, give it a brim. So have a nice day, everyone. Bye.